Good morning, good morning, good morning. I was just informed by the staff that we're way behind putting these up. I don't know what to do about it. I know one of you had made a comment on reducing to 1/10. Chris doesn't understand that, so you want to give Chris a jingle and let him know how to do it, because we are behind. I've been cutting a lot of these videos, and so I think he's 8 videos behind right now. He's constantly putting them on, even at home. So bear with me. Some of your questions aren't getting answered till late, and I don't know what to do about it. I apologize. So if anybody knows a quicker way to download these on YouTube, it'd be good, you know. There'll be a point where I think you'll see all this taper off a little bit. Hopefully we'll get a bunch of new subscribers coming on to us and that. But, you know, I really, it's like spirituality, it's like God, it's like this level of health. There's not a lot of people beating down the door to it, because as you've seen, it's work. It's a process. So I've never seen anyone on the cutting edge have the doors beat down to them and people, you know, running to it, even though it makes common sense to you, don't it? And how truth it rings. Truth is never well received at this level, you know. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go on because I've set up about a half hour here, and I wanted to cut through these as quick as possible, so forgive me if I go kind of fast, but I don't want to backload you too much, and the fact that we're really backloaded on the videos does make this difficult, because I like to get to your questions quicker. So try not to be upset, and give us a call if always if you're in trouble and you need something ASAP. Okay. Now, Citron, my man, this is, I'm going to hit this one first because I just received this morning, so forgive me that I shoved it in front of those. But it's a 7-year-old cousin who's diagnosed with something he's never heard of, and neither have I. And this is you know, it's about that long. And that's what I love about the intellectual side of allopathic. It's like, you can tell it's somebody's name. Partly. I mean, it's just ridiculous. What it is, he has red tumors that go down from his leg to his butt, hip, and there are also tumors in his bone marrow. This is what was told to me by the mom. Let's see. Gone down through aggressive chemo. He has already gone through aggressive chemo. Well, oh my God. This little 7-year-old is probably going to end up with leukemia from this Centron, so be aware of that. See a lot of that happening with this. So the problem is, at 7 years old, you know, I know this is probably going to be boring to you someday, but I'll get into law and how, if this is in the States or out of the country, but in the States, they fix this up so really people have bastard children. And that makes the state really have jurisdiction over your children. And so this is why you have a maiden name and a father's name different. So it really does set up a bastard child syndrome. It's thought that way in legal circles anyway. And so 7 years old, they can flatly kill him and no big deal, you know. And that's what's going on. That's why I'm so passionate. That's why you see me angry with people like St. Jude's and places like this that slaughter these kids. And they might in their heart feel like they're doing right, but that's how lost they are in their consciousness. You know, I feel right if I kill somebody. I'm trying to save them. You know, they've got to get with these higher levels of healing. Quit insulting tissue. You know, this isn't man against nature, man against bacteria. This is ridiculous. Man against diseases. I mean, this is insanity. This is the total. This is a male problem, an acid problem, and we need to rectify it here. Of course, this, you know, they're going to kill this kid. You know, when you're having tumors, keep in mind, Centron, the body's just what? A bunch of cells and what? 2 major fluids. 2 major fluids, and these fluids are blood and lymph, right? So which fluid would this be? Well, if it's always got to be the interstitial fluids. And the interstitial fluids are what? 75% lymph, 25% blood. You see it in a juicy pimple, you see it in tumors and cysts, and that's what this young man's doing. What's the problem in a 7-year-old on this planet today? No kidney function in terms of filtration of lymph. Adrenals are low. This kid probably has really low adrenals. So this kid has low steroids probably. That's not going to help him fight all this high acid chemo they're giving him. And what are they trying to do? What are they trying to do with the lymph fluids giving someone chemo? Magically make lymph fluid dry up or disappear? They're trying to dry up these things. Well, by drying or burning these things, making these things more anionic, it also makes the whole body anionic and also damages cells in the same time. It makes me sick what these people do to these little kids. He's also losing strength in his legs. Let me tell you, chemo hits the brain, heart, lungs, everywhere else too. I have told the family members about the diet, nerves about you, something on your YouTube channel that maybe it would be more authority than me to. I know, this is the problem when you have family members. Even though you hold the truth, they don't always listen. Mine are in the ground because they didn't want to listen, you know. But I can't fault them. This is unconsciousness. And I'm going to tell you how many kids do people have to lose before they become conscious. You know, and this is the problem. It's a slaughterhouse out there. And it's unreal. It's like, how long does this go on before man sticks his head up and says that's enough? I don't know, Centron. I tell you, I don't know. But I know that you've got to move on this kid's kidneys, his adrenal glands. Kids at 7 years old, major adrenals, major kidneys. You're going to see low blood pressures. Put this kid under surgery. You risk the chance of really shutting him down neurologically. I mean, this is a real problem where I don't know if it's in this country, Centron, but if it is, this kid's in trouble. Courts can literally force them to kill your kid, and no problem. And I'm not going to mix words when I say kill kids. And if you don't like it, medical doctors, get with the truth. Quit living in a world far beyond where you're outside of the mix and your ego's so strong that you're coming down on people like us. We're coming. And this is why I love this channel. I love you guys because we must become a powerhouse because of this sort of problem. So I don't know what the parents can do, what country they're in, where their jurisdiction, how much authority they have on what they can do to their kids. But giving this kid chemo is either going to throw him into leukemia or he's going to end up with cancer all over the place and it's going to end up in his bones. Okay. Sorry about that. Just one passionate kick this morning right off, Centron. I can't help it here. You hit at the core of my passion. I apologize to you all, but I can't handle this sort of torture to kids anymore. I've got pictures here to show you of kids at the end result of chemo, and it's not pretty. It's just not pretty. God, I don't know the family would appreciate this one if I showed you the picture of their daughter, but just unreal. Maybe I will. You know, maybe I will, and I hope they don't get mad. But I tell you what, maybe I'm lucky if I can't find it. No, I can find it. So I'll put the parents' things out. This is the end result. If you can see this child, this is the end result of chemo. She had a little leukemia. Leukemia is easy for the body to get rid of on a raw food and an herb diet. So what happened here is they gave her aggressive chemo. I think she was only 10. Well, it gave her extreme leukemia. A leukemia induced from chemo. And well, you see how it burned her skin and fried her up. She didn't make it, of course. Man, I tell you, it makes me sick. Sorry, got me going, Centron. So on a happier note, and let me see here. This is let's see. I have been experiencing with a diet for a few years, trying to gourmet raw, vegan cooking, and raw with raw dairy. Yeah, man, since I was a teenager, I've been running hot in body temperature with fairly regular excessive sweating and mild anxiety. So let's stop right there. Raw dairy. I know, I had health food stores. I sold raw milk cheeses, raw milk yogurts. I didn't know any better. I thought raw was in. raw dairy. Man can't. You know what amazes me is that the medical profession claims the body can't digest milk after age 2, but backs and rallies around drinking it. What the heck is that? I mean, that's the kind of insanity you see there. It's amazing. Well, you're running hot and body temperature means your thyroid's probably a little hyperactive there, giving yourself a little overheat in the body. But you see that you're excessively sweating. That's your kidneys. When you're sweating too much, your kidneys aren't filtering the lymph properly. And the anxiety, of course, is the adrenal glands on top of the kidneys that are controlling the kidneys' ability to filter. So you're running low in neurotransmitters, which gives you the anxiety. This is the autonomic nervous system, remember, located right here. And then you're over sweating. Get those kidneys filtering, get the adrenals up, of course. The anxieties will go away. You'll strengthen the autonomic nervous system, and then your kidneys, you'll stop sweating, and you'll sweat normally there. The fact that you can sweat is good. And it could be your body's so intelligent that it's kicking up your thyroid to accomplish this. See, that's where we don't like to address hyperthyroidism, in the sense that maybe your body's kicking up the thyroid to give you the body temperature to oversweat. So you can be able to eliminate your toxins. The body's that smart. And we can't second guess the human body. Man tries to, but you can't. You just have to feed it what it's designed to eat, and use herbs to help promote better lymph flow, better function of cells. Your only focus can be health here. Focusing on diseases is insanity. The last few years, I won't go over that. Clear to much focus. Doses of iodine. Now you were given. Now, were you warm before you took this iodine, or were you hot after you took this iodine? Because you never take inorganic iodine. This is used a lot. I did a video on this about the nuclear fallout there from Japan. You can't do that and not end up with hyperthyroidism, because it'll stay in the thyroid, especially if your lymph isn't moving well. That iodine can stay in your thyroid for years and hyperstimulate it. And this is the wrong way to try to get your energy up. My energy and metabolism went up. Of course it went up. You stimulated your thyroid there. But if it's low in the first place, why is it low? Is it the pituitary controlling the thyroid and suppressing it? Is it genetically weak? Well, how do you remedy those things? Health of cells. And we all know how to get healthy, don't we? And watching all these videos, you all know how to get healthy. Some lady asked, she came in as a subscriber, and she said she didn't have the ability to go back. I don't know how YouTube works that way. I would hope that you could push on any video. We can of Dan's, we push on any video and observe it. So I hope that those out there can get back to these videos. But yeah, you start losing all the fat on your body and taking weight down. But this is the wrong way to do it, bro. You can't hyperstimulate the thyroid to lose weight and burn the fat faster. That's the wrong way of doing it. You've got to get raw, where you can bring health to the tissues of the body and get away from the starch and dairies and the things like this. And then you'll lose weight the right way. The body will find its nice form for yourself, and you'll be in good shape. He's had some consciousness increasing. He's getting his awareness up. That's great. So he's now on a low-fat, high-fruit diet. Good deal, good deal. She's been running more, having more energy. Good, good, good. But remember, your adrenals are a little low, so you're going to have low neural energy. And so you have to work on your adrenal glands, and you do that with diet, with herbs, or with glandulars. Those are the three things that I have on my repertoire of tools to help people. I have raw foods, I have herbs, and I have glandulars. And not inhumane type sucking crap out of a gallbladder type of glandulars. That's a pharmaceutical thinking or something. That's insanity. I have raw foods, I have herbs, and I have glandulars. And not inhumane type sucking crap out of a gallbladder type of glandulars. That's a pharmaceutical thinking or something. That's insanity. I have these three tools. And outside of that, there's nothing. Homeopathics, they don't match up to these three tools. Pharmaceuticals, killing us. So you don't have anything outside of these tools. Isolated chemistry is only going to get you into more trouble. So we only have these three tools besides, you know, total water fasting. We have hydrotherapy, we have color therapy, we have qigongs, we have all types of energy healing, we have contemplation, we have all the other stuff that ties into that, which is cool. Reflexology, chiropractics, you know, we have all this stuff that helps to keep the body's energy and everything going. Acupuncture, stuff like this. But these are therapeutic modalities. You want to get to the core of healing, and if you have to use a therapeutic modality, use a therapeutic modality, but you always want to detoxify the body. That's core. That's the core of getting the body healthy, is detoxification. Because you really got to remove the obstructions physically to have a good physical experience. I've had a lot of positive thinkers try to wish their obstructions away. And you can move energy beyond an obstruction through qigong or through therapeutic touch or whatever, and you'll feel better. But ultimately, you've got to remove the obstruction if you want a total cure or remedy for your problems. His peeling of skin on his legs, his face here, fatigue. Okay, the skin is your third kidney, so you know your kidneys aren't doing it. So you got to get those kidneys, and it'll clear up the skin here. Fatigue after eating fruit meals randomly. If you're getting fatigue like that, you know, it's possible you have high candida. It shouldn't, but I guess it could. Even though fruit sugar is a simple sugar, guys, candida is a fermentation sugar problem, not a sugar problem. Fatigue, you're looking at your adrenals, but kill the fungus out of you. That'd be good. With weak adrenals, you're going to have some. Watery eyes means you're eliminating through your eyes, through your skin, but you're not filtering through your kidneys. You know, when you don't filter through your kidneys, guys, every hole's up for grabs. You know, rectal, vaginal, belly button, ears, eyes. I've detoxified people so fast their skin actually split open and tumors popped out. That's I've seen that. I've seen people get tumors out of their belly buttons. We had a guy bring in a tumor, got it right out of his belly button. We laid it on our lab, on our table, and Kathy came and cleaned, or Kathy or Brenda, one came and cleaned the countertop and threw the tumor away. And I'm going, oh, I like good tumors. So that was sad. Let's see, I put overweight. You know, work on your adrenals, my friend. Your calorie diet. If we forget about calories, I think we'll be far better off, because now the latest news is we have to lower our calorie intake, because that's the latest. Lower calories means healthy, and you're at 3,500 to 4,000. I couldn't burn that much if I had to. So, Christopher, I would definitely keep going down that road. Get you on some herbs to fix your kidneys, move your lymph, clean up the bowels too, get your adrenals up there, and you'll start willing yourself back into that. Someone asked me to speak on 2012. Well, I will. I try not to be so much into creation. I'm more into the Supreme Being, so I don't really care what happens in 2012, and I'm not really that type of person that looks into the future that way. I never played around with the causal world and the Akashic records and stuff like that much. That was just never been mine. I've always been God absorber. So, I think it's going to go both ways. If I do not believe that 2012 is going to bring a renaissance of high consciousness, and suddenly all these levels of consciousness are going to awaken up and everything's going to be glorious. You know, the problem with that thinking is there's already heavens like that, and you can already visit them and go there. There needs to be levels like this in creation for karmatic work-off and the development of consciousness. And that's what this is. God's just developing itself on all these different levels. And I guess it's looking to see the depth of itself and what it can do to expand itself. But so I don't know. You know, Atlantis and Lemuria, some people think it went down overnight. Others think it took many, many millenniums. So I don't know. A lot of thinkers out there. land changes and stuff, but you can certainly, if you just, the common observer can see that we're into some serious earth changes. And I think, man, it just, he's got to have his consciousness shook a little bit. So I'm hoping that that these different other entities, or shall we say intergalactic people, will make themselves more known. I talked to a guy when I had a radio show up in the Washington State, up in the mountains, that had a beautiful website. He's been in contact with them for years. Most people know that there's contact already, but I would like to see something that shook man's consciousness, but I'm one of those kind of eagle people and not a dove people. Okay, here is overactive bladder, urinary frequency. She's working with the kidney formulas. Yeah, keep working with that. Check and see if you have a parathyroid weakness. In other words, check your fingernails, see if you have spider veins or varicose veins, if you ever had a hernia, hemorrhoids, a little depression, saggy skin, not a good tone. That could be indication you need to strengthen connective tissue. But sometimes this bladder urgency is definitely a lot of inflammation, or shall we use the appropriate word, acidosis, in the wall of the bladder, and you're having a spastic bladder. But I would strengthen my adrenals again, strengthen your kidneys, always work on the adrenal glands. That'll strengthen the nervous system. That takes care of the kidneys and bladder. Because remember, there's blood, nerve, and lymph in all tissue, even though blood and lymph controls all cells. But nerve, of course, is the electrical department that turns everything on, can create spasticity, can create all kinds of problems there. So I would definitely keep going with that and work on that, my friend. Good work, though. Keep it up. Someone has asked me a question about severe dandruff. That's a serious problem. You know by now, of course, by reviewing these videos, dump the dairy products. These are bad news for adults. And if they're cooked, they're bad for anybody. Isn't that old saying that if you feed a baby calf pasteurized milk, it can kill him within a few weeks? There's all kinds of statements like that out there. Severe dandruff means you're not dumping, you're not cleaning your lymph system down through your body, and this is very important because it's coming out your skin, and you're either consuming too much mucus-forming foods, or your kidneys are real shut down and you're really not filtering. I'll tell you also, if I remember, this transverse colon is related to the head area. So you want to clean up your bowels, you want to get your kidneys and adrenals online, and you want to start moving that lymph, because this dandruff needs to go away. That is a sign that you're really backed up in the head there. You see that in people, especially without tonsils and adenoids, where they thought, oh, it's good to take a septic tank out when it's full. I mean, that's insanity thinking right there. If you look back, one day we'll look back on the allopathic community and look at it and think it was the most barbaric practices we've ever seen, except for the good surgeons. Good surgery is good surgery, no question about it. When you can transpose a face, that's incredible. That's good surgery, but that's allopathic, not healthcare. Not healthcare at all. They push themselves into our field. And because of that, they become the #1 killers of humans on the planet. That's not me, that's statistics. You ever take me to court, be prepared to hear the statistics, because we're going to shove them down your throat. Sorry about that. Now, this isn't my spiritual video. Yeah. I mean, this is a 7-year-old kid, stuff like this, Syntron. This takes me off the balance a little bit sometimes, because it's like, oh, we have to sit and watch the slaughter like the mama bear. Same thing, except worse. Chemo is worse than just taking some fluid out of a gallbladder. Let me tell you, much worse. Have someone give you battery acid in your veins and see how you think. Or, well, I'll give them a little bit. Chemo's a little cooler now. How about stomach acid? Those chemos are probably 1.6, 1.8, 2. All right, so let me put hydrochloric acid in your veins and see how you think. Not real good. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is the question that you've asked, and I did answer this. You've had a thyroidectomy. Now you're on Synthroid. And, yeah, you know what? You didn't take anything for the first 30 years, and it's possible some of the thyroid could have grown back. I would say this, I can't advise on pharmaceuticals and things like this because it's not my field. I don't want anybody advising people on my field if they don't have the knowledge. I do have the knowledge with pharmaceuticals, but states don't like you to interfere, and I don't kind of blame them in that way. That's their field. You have to take responsibility for yourself. But I will say that if I'm taking something that I don't feel I need, I'm not going to take it. So I don't know if you have you can have an ultrasound and see if you have any tissue left there, see what's going on there. It's all about symptomology, because really Synthroid is only synthetic T4. You've got calcitonin, then you got the parathyroid glands, and so if you're doing well there, you have to figure that on yourself. Titration is always smart when you've been on something long term, especially a hormone or a steroid. You always titrate or slowly come off of something and check your symptoms as you go off. Outside of that, most everything else is PRN when needed. So you'll just have to. I can't advise you. I can say that if your body doesn't show a symptom when you're not on it, what's that tell you? So your thinking is right. Your thinking is right, man. Astralized. Yeah. Oh, I love that eye. Is that your eye? Wow, pretty eye. Pretty woman. Astralized. I like that name. The Astral World. Remember I talked about Monroe Institute, a place where Monroe, I think it's John Monroe, really traveled through the astral world, which is the next heaven that you leave from here and go to. And that's he's mapped that out, and he's got this out-of-body place that through music he can get you out of your body. Out-of-body travel's fun. And those that fear death should start practicing this and get alone with yourself a little bit and get strong so you don't fear that. I only got 5 minutes left. This is horrible. I haven't even started. I guess I rattle on. Let's see. This question was about depersonalization, anxiety, and OCD. I'll say this. The endocrine glands are the links. The endocrine glands are the chakras. These are the links, basically. So you really want to make your endocrine glands healthy. Pituitary, pineal, your third eye, your solar plexus, your all this. This ties in the nervous system and the endocrine glands. And the endocrine glands literally control everything and reach in. This is how you see yourself, your strength or your weakness of self-images and stuff, your depressions. So you really want to make your thyroid and parathyroid healthy. Well, how do we make things healthy? We go back to what we always keep it simple. You go back to the fact that the thyroid, the endocrine glands, the parathyroid, the pituitary are all just a bunch of cells with two major fluids that take care of the health of those cells. The consciousness of those cells, or the etheric body that relates to that, or the blueprint that there is of you. There is a blueprint in the causal world. There is a blueprint of you, of the bodies you have, not you, the bodies you have below that world, and you can align yourself. And that's where magnetics and intelligence through physics with energy. Energy is key here, and why raw foods are so uplifting to consciousness and awareness and all that other stuff. But to the cells, it's doing the same thing. So it's lifting cells up to their higher levels. And the higher you get to the original blueprint of consciousness, the healthier the cell transforms, the more awakened the cell becomes, the more into itself it becomes. So it's hard for, real physical thinkers like allopathic people to understand that. You got to have a dose of spirituality to understand that. You can't just look at chemistry, and I haven't seen too many medical doctors look at chemistry. And the last 2 or 3 days this week, I've had people come in from endocrinologists, and I'm amazed. I'm amazed at what endocrinologists don't know about the endocrine glands. And a lady yesterday, vitiligo like bad, they didn't even talk about her pituitary. They didn't talk about it. And here she's a major pituitary. She can't sleep at all. Major pineal gland. Look at her eyes, and there you go. There's chronic pituitary, chronic pineal gland. She's all her endocrine glands, and yet not even endocrinologists can pick that up. And I'm thinking, oh my God, the same ones that don't identify type 2 or hypoglycemia with the adrenal gland. Same ones. It's like, what? You know, they're stuck in autoimmune, their education. It's not their fault, it's their education. I blame some of these professors for not thinking outside of the box. You know, we just teach you what I read. Well, I got to run. Unfortunately, I've got to run. So, sweetheart, get your thyroid up, get your adrenals. That's your anxiety, your emotions. Get those up, sweetheart, and you'll be in good shape. And I'm going to get back with you guys as soon as I can. We're so backed up with videos, and as you see here, I've got quite a thick amount of questions. I'm trying. So every day I'm going to come in, even though they're telling me to slow up. I'll come in. They have to get up pretty early to keep up with us, don't they? So if anybody knows how Chris can download these quicker, please let us know. And sorry for getting out of line, but you started it, Centron. You started it, my friend. When you got to talk to me about kids and giving kids chemo, and what I've seen with the kids and the parents that come in here crying, the parents that come in here with their hearts dropping on the plate, I start to cry. And it's like, no, we've got to stand. There's a certain point where you can Gandhi it, and then there's a certain point where you have to stand up and say, that's it. So you have to. There's a point where you have to Gandhi, and then there's a point where you have to be like the people of Libya. That's it. And that's where we need to be right now. That's it. You know, we've given you a chance to wake up, and you're not doing it. So, you know, we can't keep going down that same road of chemo, radiation, that same road that's destroying human cells and the humans that have the bodies. Just can't keep doing it, you know. But this is going to. We're probably going to have to file a lot of lawsuits. I've got a friend putting up a great website about law, and he's going to have a lot of criminal complaints, and we're going to end up putting them on toward states and toward allopathics because this you just can't going down this road. So for those that have the eagle cojones, we'll take care of business as we go along here. So I love you guys today. Now this is a big hug and kisses, galactic hugs. So thank you all so much. Apologize for the video, but Centron, you started it, man. This poor kid is in trouble, so you know what to do with the lymph systems. Going to be hard maybe with states or wherever he is. Maybe he's in a country that you can get a hold of him. That would be the best thing that could happen here. But love you all. Take care of yourselves, guys. Have a fun day. Bye-bye.